It's Rapid Fire Friday. This is the episode where I take questions, throw them at Brian, he tries to answer them, and get back to me. You won't want to miss this one.
Hey, welcome to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast with the two renegade pharmacists, Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks. You are listening to this because you are a person with type 2 diabetes who is committed and driven to breaking free from this diagnosis and creating a real, meaningful change in your health and life. In these episodes, we're here to help you ditch the scripts with doses of unconventional wisdom on topics such as fitness, nutrition, medication, mindset, and more. So without any further delay, let's dive right in.
Welcome back to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. It's Cory. I'm here with Brian, and he's ready to answer some questions, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm ready. This is
Good.
my favorite episode.
It's your favorite. Good, because you love it so much. I'm not even going to ask how your personal life's going. We're going to hop right into it. First question. Does dried fruit actually remove the fiber, and why is it bad? And why can't I just eat dried fruit instead of whole fruit? That's like three questions in one question.
Cory, this is a great question because I think we were called out by a listener on this. They were just more curious. They were like, how does removing the water in dried fruit and fruit remove the fiber too? And I was like, this is a great question. Let me look this up. It turns out it doesn't truly remove the fiber completely. I mean, it might make it makes the fiber less efficient, like less active because just the way there's no water to really go with it, right? And there's also the lack of fullness too, because there's less volume of fruit and it weighs less. So it's not so much that it removes the fiber, that it just doesn't fill you up as much. And there's more calories per amount of total weight of food.
Yeah. So this is a good technicality we deserve to be called out on. And listen, hey, call us out when you hear something wrong. We misspeak all the time. Ask our wives. We are not perfect human beings. But when it comes to fruit, so the reason that so fruit does contain sugar, so it can raise blood sugar. When you're eating a whole piece of whole fruit, like some berries, our personal favorite for blood sugar, the fiber along with it helps to blunt the blood sugar response. When you take dried fruit, you are removing not necessarily the fiber, but the water. And what we teach is trying to get the most nutrition for the least amount of energy when you're eating. And if you remove the water from food, as Brian said, it becomes lighter. There's less volume. And when you eat food, that food pushes against your stomach, and that mechanical sensation of fullness helps you to stop eating. Unless you have like a cookie, and then we can always have another cookie, right, Brian? That's the sinister part.
Yeah.
So the problem with dried fruit is that by removing the water from it, you're removing the weight and volume that provides fullness, so you can consume more energy than you ordinarily would need to. And think of it in terms of either if you've ever had like a dehydrated apple or even like raisins. Okay, raisins. If I eat a handful of raisins, and I know this because my daughter has been crushing raisins, you could get a good 400 or 500 calories with a handful of raisins. I think
That many?
maybe not that many, but the equivalent amount for a handful of grapes. Like when you eat a grape, you're going to get the water in it that will provide fullness for you. So that's why we prefer the whole fruit over dried fruit, because it's just when it comes down to, Brian, at the end of this rambling, I think it's how can we stop ourselves from overeating? It's the same idea of like a potato chip. You've removed it's the same potato, but you've removed all of the water from it. So it's much easier to eat. And I looked up this once, like a snack size bag of chips. It's several potatoes, I think. And listeners, if we missed the math on that. The point being, like, you would not sit down and you would not just be able to eat an entire potato in like 2 minutes, but you can eat a whole bag of chips in 2 minutes. So you can eat faster, you can eat more, overconsume, excess energy, higher blood sugar. Brian, what I missed there?
No, just I think a good visual experiment on this would be, and then I'll do a video of it next time and put it on our Instagram. Next time I buy grapes and raisins for my kid, I'll take the quantity of grapes that I like, let's say 10 grapes, and I'll put 10 raisins in my hand, or I'll do like 20. And you'll see there's no way in heck I was ever gonna fit 20 grapes in my mouth at one time. Please don't try that. You'll probably choke. 20 grapes in your mouth at one time. But easily, I guarantee I could fit 20 raisins in my mouth and be done with it, and then fit another 20 raisins in my mouth 10 seconds later. So
I've done it probably in the last 24 hours, Brian.
Yeah.
Not the grapes one. 20 grapes probably wouldn't fit in your hand. I've seen your hands. They're not that big.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and a fun fact, like my kids just did some juicing with their grandparents the other day. They brought the pulp home. I ate some of the pulp. Definitely, it was far less sweet than the fruit itself. So I froze some of it, maybe made a little bit of less sweet sorbets. I don't know, I haven't really tried it yet. We'll see how that turned out. But yeah, let's move on to the next question. We need to
All
make
right.
these rapid.
I I know it. All right. So next one is how do I know if what I'm doing is actually working to get off diabetes meds or if I'm just managing symptoms and numbers? This is a good one, Brian. I'm not even gonna comment anymore. Just go.
I love this question because they're thinking bigger picture here, right? Like what am I trying to do ultimately? If my goal is I'm okay with taking medications and just being okay with the status quo, the standard of care, my doctor's cool with it, or no, I don't want to accept that, which I think a lot of the people listening to this can relate, then you really want to know if what you're doing is actually leading you towards remission. This is the Remission Roadmap podcast. Remission, by definition, is just you have a healthy A1C, no more medications required. That's our goal for everyone here. Is it possible for everyone? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I'm not going to say definitely we have to like
I
really
would
sit
say
down and talk through.
it depends on the timeline
Yeah,
you're looking at.
yeah. So, how do you know if what you're doing is working to get off medication? I think you have to look at the signs of like insulin sensitivity in your body. And are you having, any lows? I mean, Corey, you help me out here because I really want to know what your thought is on how do you know what you're doing is working? Because my thought is like, am I seeing signs of reversing energy toxicity? Is my energy level improving? Is my stamina improving? Those types of things, I think, will also kind of relate back to how your body overall is using energy.
Yeah. Are your blood sugar numbers going down? And so this can be tricky if you're not checking, if not daily, every couple of days, or if you have a continuous glucose monitor versus if you're just doing an A1C every few months. Now, this becomes a safety issue, and this is not a medical advice podcast, but if you're on a medicine that can cause acute lows in sugar like insulin or sulfonylureas like glipizide, you'll know pretty quick if the medicines stay the same and you start doing the interventions that we discussed, the different diet, lifestyle, exercise interventions we talk about, and your numbers are lower, keeping the medicines the same, then you know that it's working. Now, if your numbers are not going down, but as Brian mentioned, you have better energy. You notice that your clothes are fitting looser, especially around your midsection. That means that visceral fat, the liver fat, the dangerous fat is going away. It's reducing. Those are some physical signs that you are on the right path. It's just one of those things that it also takes time to build muscle. So part of this being a sustainable remission is building the muscle capacity to have the glucose storage capacity to handle the sugar in your body. Because if you have diabetes, you are in an energy toxic state, your blood sugar is high. And maybe it's so high that it's going to take some time to even get to a normal level with or without medicines. And so I think looking at blood, to summarize, big picture, blood sugar trends are huge for me. Brian, like Brian said, your energy, are you utilizing energy more effectively? Are you more energetic? And then your physical signs. Weight can be fickle. It can fluctuate a lot. Hopefully, we're seeing weight reduction, but specifically, are you seeing body recomposition changes? Is your midsection slimmer? Do you find that your clothes are fitting looser and maybe you're seeing some muscles where they weren't there before?
Yeah, all good points. And in addition to like the muscle being more sensitive to insulin and storing sugar better, you need to look at like, is my pancreas working better? The visceral fat around those organs, that's going to allow that to work better as well. So, without going through a DEXA scan or muscle tissue biopsy where you get your muscles tested for amount of fat in them, those are if you really want to go down and you could actually look at DEXA scans, I think that would be an interesting way to look at body composition changes over time.
Yeah, that's if you have fancy access to fancy tools. But I'm a
Yeah,
simple guy and I like the simple old
yeah,
fashioned. Is my waist smaller? Is my blood sugar lower? We're going in the right direction. So,
yeah.
and of course, always doing this in conjunction with your provider so that it's done safely. That's number one thing is safety. So remember to listen to the disclaimer at the end of the episode. We are not your medical providers. Work with your doctor, but your blood sugar and weight should tell the tale. All right. Last question. Is it wrong to want fewer medications even if my doctor says I'm stable?
No, absolutely
All
not.
right, end of the episode. Great. Sorry.
I don't think it's wrong at all. I mean, I think the the whole idea here is like I want to get my body back to working the way it's meant to. And yeah, medications provide that bridge of safety. They're a tool. I don't know if I can imagine if I ever somehow get diabetes, I would want to strive for doing this myself. Like that's been what's got me down this whole journey is like the desire. I mean, I was 200 plus pounds, Corey.
He is not that
No,
tall, folks, by the way.
no, I'm not that tall.
Like
I'm not tall to
5'11"?
look. Yeah,
You 5'11"?
5'11",
Okay.
200 plus pounds
Mhm.
at my heaviest, and just a metabolic disaster. I mean, I was definitely well on the way to type 2 diabetes if I didn't do anything about it. And yeah, I'm the metabolic dysfunction that I had showed up in the way my energy was. And I don't think that's it was that curiosity that got me down this path of like, I need to figure this out. And it was fasting that really started it for me,
Mhm.
that it became a tool of discipline and just denying my body like the satisfying things I wanted. I'm not saying fast, I'm not saying it fixes everything. I'm just saying it was a vehicle and a tool for me to find a way to love taking care of my body again. And that's I imagine that people listening to this, they want something more than the standard. Like the doctor's standard of care, like, yeah, they're happy if you get your A1C at 6, but they don't care if it takes 4 medications to get there. Right?
Mhm.
Like they don't care. It's just your numbers look great, but is that the standard of which you want to live? And that's the
Mhm.
kind of question you have to ask yourself.
If you're listening to this and thinking, this is exactly what I need, but I'll deal with it at my next doctor's appointment, I want to lovingly call out something important. Waiting 6 months for someone to glance at your labs isn't a plan, it's a gamble. Your blood sugar doesn't pause until your next visit, your habits don't magically change on their own, and you don't need another rushed conversation where you walk out with more questions than answers. If you want clarity, real personal clarity on what's driving your numbers and how to turn them around, grab a blood sugar clarity call with us. It's free, it's personalized, and it gives you a plan you can act on right away, long before your next appointment rolls around. Just head to the show notes and tap the link to book your call. Don't wait for someone else to set the pace for your health. Take the next step while you've got the momentum.
Yeah, so maybe the question isn't, is it wrong to want fewer meds even if my doctor says I'm stable? The question is, what standard do I want to live to? And we're not here to judge whatever standard you want. And if you want to, if for anyone who is happy taking medicines and having controlled sugar, listen, it's better than having uncontrolled sugar. Uh, the high sugars damage your body. So certainly better to have controlled sugars taking medicines. But I think that doctors aren't really trained to have that off ramp of what to do with medicines if you want to get off them and change your lifestyle. So they're not, it's not even a question they're used to hearing. So is it wrong? No, it's your body, it's your life. Of course not, it's not wrong. And the key is figuring out the consistent things that you can do to get you to your goal. And so, and I will echo Brian. My heaviest, I was 194 pounds and I'm 5'9". So I've also gone down the path of learning to work within the body that I'm in and understand it's the only one we get and do the things that I need to do to maintain my health and fitness. And so there's no fault to anybody's of any zone. Our food systems is designed, our healthcare system is designed for dependence on medications. It's very easy to overeat. It's very easy to eat lots of yummy things. And I was just talking about this on another podcast I was recording with a future guest. Is eating healthy is looked at as weird because it's the norm is to eat processed junk food. Brian and I will talk about it every episode. The snacks that our kids get at their sports games and at school, and that's normal. And it should not be normal, but it's what it is. So normal is relying on medicines and giving the thumbs up from your doctor, and that's it. But I think if you want something more, Brian, yeah, go for it.
More power to you. I think, yeah, it's been frustrating definitely to see what is standardized as normal, even in a preschool setting. Like my son, every time I had cookies today and a juice. Like, do they give you water? No. How did this? How much I saw, and I saw something the other day. It's like, how much propaganda did it take for us to get to this point where all this processed food is normal and all the healthy food is considered weird or fringe, and like you get looked at weirdly if you order. Now, I think there's extremes, right? You don't have to be fear. And at one point, honestly, I did take it too far. I took it to the point of being afraid of food. So maybe this
Yeah.
was that
Ooh.
episode we have.
Yeah, we have an episode coming out in March with a very special guest. We'll talk about how to not fear food. So we'll put a pin on that one, Brian. But it's a very real problem that we run into. And I think if you listen to us banter back and forth, you're very careful of not calling a food bad or saying we can never have something again or labeling stuff that way. And I think that's a great way to approach it. And so
Yeah.
we have gone from Rapid Fire Friday to Soliloquy Friday. So so Brian, I think we've hit these three questions pretty well. And if you're listening and you disagree or you have want us to go deeper on one, you send us a message, send us an email. We have the email in the show notes. You have our Instagram link in the show notes. Send us a DM, send us a message. This is one of our favorite things that we do is answering your questions on the air, live recorded, so that we can, because if you have a question, it's like school. If you have that question, someone else also probably has it too. So Brian,
Yeah.
anything else to bring us home?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I don't
All
want to
right.
go deeper into the story, but it's fun talking about, what got me into wanting to help others with their health. It is
Ooh.
good to reflect on that.
If someone wants one of the rapid fire questions to just be a whole episode of Brian's personal story, you say the word and we will record that. So Brian, thanks for answering these questions so well. Listeners, thanks for listening. The numbers keep going up. We can't do it without you. So thank you. And share it with a friend. Give us a nice little rating. Give us a little review. I know they make giving a review more complicated than navigating the American healthcare system, but if you do that, it would be lovely. So until next time, this has been the Diabetes Remission Roadmap Podcast. Thank you for listening.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.